Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany and welcome to the final day of the 12 days of Christmas. So we're ending out on a bang, and by a bang, I mean a video that has been requested by one of you. You guys had so many great ideas and recommendations, and some of which I have taken into account for the 12 days of Christmas, but there are video suggestions I received that will be coming in the near future because I thought they were so fun. I just only had so much time and space in the 12 days while also wrapping up the year and giving goals and TBRs for the new year. So I only had so much time, unfortunately, but the suggestions were amazing and I'm looking forward to doing more of them. But today's suggestion was to take an old book haul and see, did I actually read the books that I purchased in this book haul? And I've done one of these before. I did it for my first ever haul on my channel, but what I'm doing this time instead is I'm actually taking my Christmas book haul from last year. And so it's been almost exactly a year since I have received these books, just a tiny bit over. And so did I actually read them? Some of these were gifts, most of them were gifts, but there's actually a little tiny thrift haul at the end as well with some books that I purchased with some Christmas money. So there's some that I purchased, some that I didn't, but I'm really curious and a little bit nervous to see whether or not I actually have read the books that I received a year ago. She sent me this beautiful cloth-bound copy of The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. Okay, so it's funny that this is the first book on this list because this is actually my Classics TBR for 2024. So no, I have not yet read this book. I did read Agnes Grey in 2023 and absolutely loved it. I'm really looking forward to reading The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. I actually considered reading it for Victober this past year, but I just didn't have enough time to fit in a book of that size. So I still have not yet read The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, but it's coming. So I'm shocked that I want it, but so excited. And that's Kristin Lavransdatter by Sigrid Undset. It's hilarious that Kristin Lavransdatter is the second book on here that I won as part of a giveaway because I am also reading Kristin Lavransdatter in 2024. It's also on my Classics TBR. I will be reading this over the course of 3 months with my friend Dia. We'll be reading in October, in November, and December. So one book per month because this is an omnibus that has all three of them. It's really funny that the first two books are books that I'm planning to read within the next year but have not yet read. Two books that my sweet friend Christy sent me. Christy lives from Dostoevsky in Space, and actually the first one, I don't know where I put it. It's Wise Blood by Flannery O'Connor. This is the group read for Flannery on January. Yay, one that I've read, although at the time of filming this video, I actually was in the process of reading it, so I don't know if that really counts, but I did get it for Christmas. Didn't start it till January, and then this video was filmed in January. So still, I'm counting it. And then book number 2 is The Girl with Seven Names. And ooh, I did not read The Girl with Seven Names yet. I wanted to read it for K-Tropathon this past year, and I just haven't yet. So that's unfortunate. Since then, Christy has sent me another North Korean defector memoir. So now I have 2 I need to read. Next up, I have a book that my brother-in-law bought me for Christmas, and that's The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. Well, that hasn't changed. I still haven't read The Silmarillion. I really want to though, but right now I am currently in the process of working my way through Lord of the Rings as a reread. Read The Hobbit in December. In January, I'm reading Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers in February, and Return of the King in March. So maybe I can squeeze The Silmarillion in April. We'll see. And they bought me this beautiful edition of Pride and Prejudice by Marjolaine Baston, I think is the name. Okay, I don't know if I can technically count this because I have not reread Pride and Prejudice since I have received this copy, but I've read Pride and Prejudice many times, more than the other Jane Austen novels that I have read. But I actually am rereading this in April with my in-person book club. So I will be reading it this year also. So the first one is Dombey and Son by Charles Dickens. This is one of the few Dickens left that I have not yet read. Oh, Dombey and Sons. Maybe I should have chosen that for my new Dickens to read in 2024, but I did not. In 2023, I read Nicholas Nickleby for a Dickens that I had not yet read, which I had received like a year and a half beforehand. And now I have Dombey and Sons on here, but I'm reading Pickwick Papers in 2024. So still no plans currently to read Dombey and Sons, but maybe 2025. On a very, very different scale is a nonfiction, which is Medical Apartheid. And this is all about like medical experimentation and horrible things that were done to Black Americans. Have not read this one yet. I need to. I want to read more nonfiction in 2024. And I say that every year, but this would be a really good one. Other nonfiction here that I'm so excited that he got me. And it's the memoirs of Lady Hyung-yong, and this is Korean, and it's from the 18th century. Okay, can I count this one? This was on my classics TBR for 2023, and I started it, but I didn't finish it. I was kind of struggling with it, to be honest, and was just overloaded with so many books, so I just didn't get to it. I sort of got to it since I started it. Last book that my husband got me. This is such a diverse like selection of the 4 books he got me. Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. I have not read Cytonic because I tried to read Cytonic actually, and I didn't remember enough of what happened that they were referencing from Starsight and Skyward, and so I need to reread them, and I haven't. So ironically, I have not yet done a Christmas haul that is coming soon, but ironically, Peter bought Defiant for me for Christmas this past year. So the past 2 Christmases, he's bought me Skyward books, and I haven't read either of them. I have 6 books here, and so I know we had at least 7. I'm trying to remember if my sister had 1 or 2 books, but either way, if you think about it, 6 books for $1 is pretty dang good. So the first one is 3 Men in a Boat by Jerome K. Jerome. Yay, I have read 3 Men in a Boat. I read that for Victober this year with Rainy and Dia. So much fun. We want to read 3 Men on a Bummel, the second book for Victober in 2024, but I loved this book. This book was a blast. The next book that I found, Ficciones by Borges, and I actually found Labyrinth by Borges at a thrift store for like 99 cents or 79 cents, something like that. And this one was like cheaper than that. I got really excited at first because I'm like, yeah, I read Borges this year. I didn't read Ficciones. I read Labyrinths, which, to be fair, Ficciones and Labyrinths, there's a ton of crossover. In fact, they're mostly the same. Labyrinths has a ton more stuff in it than Ficciones does. Ficciones only has a couple of short stories that Labyrinths does not have. So can I count Ficciones? I like really want to count Ficciones because my track record is very poor. I found an E.M. Forster book with a really ugly cover where angels fear to tread. Slee kind of creeps me out. That is such a creepy cover. Have not picked it up. Have only still read A Room with a View. That's still the only E.M. Forster I've read. But I do still have it on my shelf, so eventually. Also got The Enormous Crocodile by Roald Dahl. We actually own this one, but ours is falling apart. Okay, I can't really count The Enormous Crocodile because I had read it before I purchased it because our copy was wearing out. But I have read this one, technically. And actually, I'm pretty sure I did reread it at some point in 2024 or 2023, but I don't think I counted it in anything because it's so short that I just kind of like flipped through it. So I don't know if I can really count it. I got a Steinbeck. I got Cannery Row, which I have never read. Cannery Row almost made it onto my 2024 Classics TBR. I had a poll on Instagram whether or not I should read Grapes of Wrath or Cannery Row, and Grapes of Wrath won. So it's really funny because that would have meant so many books from this haul made it onto my 2024 Classics TBR. But alas, it did not. So Cannery Row has still remained unread and will for the foreseeable future. Last book is one that I'm not sure if I'll like, but I've heard some people talk about it, and I feel like I've been hearing about it for a really long time, and that's Gilead by Marilyn Robinson. Gilead, okay. Have not read this one. Thought about reading it with someone in 2023. And then we didn't end up reading it because we just didn't have time. I think I still have it. Maybe I got rid of it because it was one that I was like, am I ever going to read this? So I don't know if I even still own it. I might have actually gotten rid of it. I honestly do not remember. Okay, well, that's it for revisiting this haul. This was a smaller haul. I considered doing a larger one, like one of my McKay's hauls that I did earlier in the year in like February, but I wanted to do something where I had had most of the books for a year, and I did not do great at reading these books. To be fair, when it's classics, I don't put a high priority on reading them like as soon as possible, because if classics sit on my shelves for a while, I'm totally okay with it, because sometimes it takes me a while to get to the classics, and I feel like they're classics for a reason, so it doesn't really bother me when classics sit on my shelves for a long time without being read. But I do have plans to read a lot of these in 2024, which makes me feel slightly better about how many books in this I actually did read. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. When you purchase a book or receive a book as a gift, do you read it as soon as possible, or do you just let it sit on your shelves for a while until the mood strikes or until you make a plan to read it or something like that? I'm just curious, because I feel like I used to be more likely to read a book immediately after purchasing it, but because my book life is very scheduled out these days, it can be a long time before I get to them sometimes, even if it's a book I'm really excited about. So I don't know. I'm just curious how it goes in your household, if you purchase things that you're going to read immediately, or, you know, I guess when you see something on sale, like I do when I find something used at a thrift store, I don't necessarily have a plan to read it immediately. I think that if I was paying full price for a book, maybe I would have plans to read it more immediately. Maybe not. Who am I kidding? I'm not great at reading books that soon after I get them most of the time. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here for the 12 days of Christmas. This has been such a fun experience. It is every year. I feel like I get to chat with you guys pretty much every day for almost 2 weeks, which is wonderful. And I'm almost sad that 12 days of Christmas is coming to a close, but almost not, because it's a lot of filming and a lot of editing. And actually, spoiler alert, you will get a video from me tomorrow, because I normally have videos that come out on Saturday. So you will see me tomorrow, but then after that, we'll go back to our normal posting schedule. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me. And I will see you again next time.